Hello. Back in 2008, I made a video that consisted of my DVD collection, along with a few of my brothers. It was a pretty bad video because I didn't put my face in it and I pretty much just glanced over everything. A few years later, I made a remake and sort of an update. It was a little better, but it still wasn't really my best video or anything like that. So here it is again, a few years later, and my collection hasn't really updated much because most of that time I didn't have a job or anything, so. But from what I do have, I decided to make another update video, and this is going to be it, so let's get started. Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. I haven't watched it just yet, so I have no opinion on it. From what I heard, a lot of people are just saying it's okay. But I really don't know what to think of it yet. So I do know that it's pretty much about Goku going Super Saiyan God, but other than that, I don't really know what to think of it. So I'll try to watch it at one point, but as of right now, I really don't have an opinion on it. Monsters University. When this film first came out, I pretty much thought it was the best Pixar film since Toy Story 3. And I pretty much do still think that. I don't think it's the best Pixar film ever made or anything, but I said that, but I do think it is a lot better than what they had a few years before. So, and I kind of do hope they continue with that. And when you compare this one and the old movie, it just looks incredible because it looks like they were made by two different companies or something. It's amazing how technology has changed, but I do think it is a good movie, but and it is kind of getting Pixar back to where they were before, but not quite yet, but it is getting there. Brave. When this film came out, the movie that came out a year before was Cars 2, and that movie sucked. It really sucked. So when we saw the trailers for Brave, we were hoping it was going to be really good because when we saw the trailers for it, we thought it looked incredible. It looked like something Pixar has never did before. And when the film came out, what did we thought of it? Well, think of it. It was ugh. And that's pretty much what I thought of it as well. It's just a mediocre film. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. I mean, I wasn't disappointed, but I also wasn't satisfied as well. I mean, I was happy I saw it, but it just wasn't what I was hoping it was going to be. But, it was still an alright film. It was better than Cars 2, but it just wasn't that movie we thought it was going to be. But I'm happy I saw it, and I probably will watch it more times in the future. Bambi. I actually really don't remember this film much because I haven't seen it in years. But, I do like it, and who can forget that scene when Bambi's mom gets shot? It is definitely one of the more, tearful of the old movies, but it is a great movie. It's a classic, but I don't think it really got a good reception when it was first released, but at least now it is a classic and it deserves it, so Bambi. Frozen. Whether you love this film or hate this film, you all know it. You know the songs, you know the characters, you know the plot. You know all of it. And sadly for all those people who do hate the film, I like it. I think it's a really good movie. And one of their best films in years. I think it's fantastic. And the only reason I think some people really hate this film is because it's popular. No other reason. They just hate it because it's popular. And I think that's an incredibly stupid reason to hate something. If you're going to hate something, you have to hate it for something else. If you hate this movie for its plot, the characters, or the song, I can understand. And I respect your opinion. But if you hate it because it's popular, God, that is a stupid reason. Just I know you're trying to be mainstream and cool, but you're not. You should at least give this film a chance first without that biased view of yours. Then, if you still hate it, maybe I can understand, but if it's popular, just don't even say you hate a film, because you're not worth listening to then. Tangled. This is also a really good Disney movie. Is it frozen standards in my opinion? But it is one of the movies that started the Disney revival along with Princess and the Frog, so I do thank it for that, and I do think it is a really good film overall, and just probably maybe close to my favorites, maybe in the top 15 or so, but just not quite my favorite. But it is still a really good movie, and I had to thank it first, getting Disney back on track. Lilo and Stitch. I also remember when this movie was released. It was around a time when Disney wasn't themselves. They were releasing all those stupid movies and whatever, but this was one of the few good movies they released, and I'm happy I saw it. It's a really good one. It has had its little emotional moments and everything, and it's just a really good one, and I'm glad I saw it. Underrated one here. Hunchback of Notre Dame. I don't know how a lot of people really can't like this movie. It's great. Because this movie takes its chances. It's a lot darker than a lot of the other Disney films. Because they talk about things like lust and stuff, which is something you really don't see in a lot of Disney movies. Because the main villain, Rocko, pretty much just wants to have sex with the main villain, or girl. But, it's a really underrated Disney movie, and thankfully it is starting to get more reception. More people are starting to notice it. It is really good, and I hope that continues for a while, because this film needs more attention. Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I already have the third volume, but I have since gotten the other two. I mean, I don't know when I first saw this series. It was around when it first ended. I think around Simpsons Comet, and I just fell in love with it. At first I thought it was going to be a really stupid series, but boy was I wrong. This series is just fantastic. It has good story, good characters, good everything. It's a masterpiece. It's great, and I also like Korra, but not as much as I like this show. I might try to get Korra on DVD at one point, but I haven't gotten to it yet. And I don't know if it has season DVDs or volume DVDs. I hate volume DVDs. The feeds that go like, Season 1, Volume 1, Season 1, Volume 2. I mean, I can understand if a show is going to have 40 episodes a season, then I can understand why they do it split, but when they just have about 20 episodes a season, I don't like it when they do that. I think it's a complete waste of time, and it just frustrates me. So I really hope they have it as regular seasons. Batman the Animated Series. This is also a really good show from the 90s, and probably the best Batman show of all. I only have Batman 1 and 2 now. I still need to get the other two, even though people don't really like the fourth one as much, but I probably still will get it at one point, because it is still Batman, and it's still part of the animated series. And kind of funny, I really don't like the movies as much as the show, because I actually, when it comes to movies, I like the DC cartoons more, and the DC movies less. Well, for Marvel, I like the cartoons more, and the... Oh no, I turned that around, sorry, but... Anyway, I hope to get the rest of the series at one point. Sorry about that, my throat was getting dry. Rocko's Modern Life. This show is just one of the best 90s shows. It just has a lot of adult humor and a lot of good writing. And I don't know how they got everything past the censors, but they did. It's a really good show. It's pretty much an older version of SpongeBob, but better in my opinion. And I'm glad they have it on DVD like this, because for a lot of the old 90s shows, they don't have it. They don't have it for Doug, they don't have it for Rugrats, and I think they don't have it for Hey Arnold either. Which is really sad, because all those are good shows and they deserve the same treatment as this one, but I'm thankful that they do have this one at least, so hopefully they do continue with that. The Simpsons Season 4, 6, and 7. And I already have 5 and the ones before that. The Simpsons is a phenomenal show. No, everyone has to agree with that. It's great, because it pretty much influenced everybody. It revolutionized television. It's a great show. It is as good as it used to be. Not really, but I do still kind of hope it reaches 30 seasons, just so it can hit that point where they can brag about it, but the show is definitely not what it used to be. And I think I might stop at 10 seasons when I get to it. Maybe. I haven't figured that out yet, but I may do that, so I'll figure out when I do. South Park. South Park is a great show. It's one of my favorites, and it's one of my favorite cartoons of all time. Right now, I only have the first 3 seasons and season 12, but I am probably going to start getting the rest of the seasons at one point, because they don't have all the episodes online anymore like they used to, because South Park had to go and merge with Hulu, which was stupid. Now only about 20 episodes are free online, and every other episode you have to pay for. So I'm probably just going to go and buy the DVDs at one point, because it will be a lot easier, and I don't have a Hulu account or anything like that, so. But South Park's a great show, and I hope it continues for a while. One more thing left to go. The Big Bang Theory. Now, I know a lot of people who identify themselves as geeks or stuff like that don't like the show, because this still is technically stereotypical geek stuff, but I think it worked for this show, because they know they're making fun of geeks. And I think they know that. I think they pretty much do know that geeks really aren't like this in real life, but I think it does work for this show, because it's fictional. It's supposed to be fake. It's supposed to be funny. And I do really like the characters. I don't really like Sheldon as much as everyone does. I think Leonard would probably be my favorite character, but it's a good show, and it's going to last a while. It's at least here until 2017, so I think it's a good show. I like it, and I'll probably try to get the rest of the seasons at one point. And also season 2. I forgot to show that as well. Sorry. But I hope it stays a while. The Wonder Years. This is a great show. I remember back when they used to show it on Nick at Night years ago, and I thought it was really good. And then after that, it disappeared for a while, and I just forgot about it. But then I rediscovered the show on the Hub, which sadly died a few months ago, for Discovery Family. Thanks, Discovery, for that. But this is a good show, and I'm happy they have finally released it on DVD after all these years. To do so, they had to take out some of the songs on it for copyright reasons, because the people can't afford to lose a few dollars, but the songwriters and stuff. But at least it is finally getting a DVD release. I think this one only has a few episodes on it, about 7 episodes or so, but it's still the DVD, and I hope they get the rest of the seasons on at one point. But until then, I'll just watch everything on Netflix, because it's a good show. It's great. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it, because if you haven't, you're missing out. Roger Rabbit. Definitely a good movie. I actually didn't see it until a few years ago, but it's a really good movie. I like the characters, I like the music, I really like this movie, and it looks fantastic. It actually looks like the characters are there. I mean, there are movies that are released today where they still look fake compared to this. I don't know what they did, but they did make it look really good. And I keep hearing they're going to make a sequel at one point, but I don't know. If there was a sequel, I would kind of like see something like a war between the 2D characters and the 3D characters. I think that would be kind of cool, and then Roger Rabbit's kind of there to kind of try to be the peace guy and try to prevent it from happening, but the sequel still hasn't come out yet, but I'll probably see it if it does come out, even though I 100% don't want it, but it's a good movie. Lincoln. A movie about one of the greatest presidents of all time, and it's not really about his whole presidency or anything like that. It's just pretty much about the 13th Amendment, which was getting rid of slavery, which of course we definitely needed. And what better president to go and get on than Lincoln? And it's a really good movie. They take everything seriously. The accuracy is, the history actually is pretty good. And from what I heard from historians, the voice that Lincoln has is probably very accurate, even though a lot of people didn't like it. But I'd rather believe the historians than the everyday people, because they obviously know more. So I think Daniel Day-Lewis did a really good job in his role. So Lincoln, really good movie. I like it. Liberty's Kids. This was a PBS show from the early 2000s that was about the revolution. It was just pretty much about these kids that kind of helped with the founding fathers with everything. They were pretty much kind of helped with the battles and everything like that. It had these three kids. James, a kid who wanted to be a writer or something like that. Sarah, a girl from England who was originally a loyalist but then became a patriot. And then I forgot the other kid's name. Somewhere on here. Henry. Yeah, Henry, a kid from France who is really good friends with James and Ben Franklin. And they got a lot of really big names on here somehow. I don't know how they did it, but they did. But it's pretty good for just a Saturday morning cartoon, which sadly aren't around anymore. But it's about 40 episodes, and it's pretty adult for a kid's show, because they talk about slavery and they say Negro and things like that. So it's pretty good. And I originally heard that they were going to make a spin-off series about the Civil War, but I guess they never got around to it because it's still not here. But I do hope they get around to it at one point, but it's been about 12 years, so it's really unlikely at this point. So all we have is this as of right now, but it's good. It's not phenomenal, but for what it is, it's pretty good. And if you like history, you'll probably like this. Okay. A Christmas Story. Definitely one of the better Christmas movies out there. You've seen it probably. You'll probably love it. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. I watch it every Christmas with that 24-hour marathon thing, and I never get tired of it. It's a really good movie. You had to love it. And I've seen the second one. It's not that great. I don't think I hate it as much as other people do, but it's still not great. But we still have this classic, and I still hope they show it on TV for years to come, because they need to. One more to go. John Adams. This is a mini-series about whoever. John Adams, a founding father and the second president of the United States. And I think that's pretty cool, because most revolutionary shows or movies about the revolution usually focus on George Washington or a fictional person. But if it's going to be a real person, it's usually George Washington. And it's only sometimes that they focus on Ben Franklin or Thomas Jefferson or John Adams or anyone else around that time. So it's good to get a series other than Washington, and this series is really good because the action is pretty good and everything. But I don't think it's probably my favorite revolutionary show, but it is a really good one, and I do like it. The actors play their roles really well, and it is really good. And like for Lincoln and Liberty's Kids, if you like history, you'll probably like this too. So check it out if you haven't seen it, and it's good. And there you have it. All of the films that I have gotten since the last video I made, which was in 2012. So not a lot, but now that I do have a job, I will try to get more DVDs and stuff, because that now that I have a job and make money, so I may be able to make these videos more often. But if I don't, I don't. But anyway, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the future. Take care.